Good morning, everybody. Today is the first day of Brown Fitness and Performance presents the at-home workout. This particular workout is, of course, in lieu of all of the crises surrounding the coronavirus. So for those of us who don't want to go out and go to the gym, a lot of our gyms in Ohio have actually been closed down. So this is a good way to get active, keep moving, and still be able to get a workout while at home. Now, I'm going to keep, for today's workout, I'm going to keep the equipment to a bare minimum. I do have a dumbbell right next to me. I'm only really going to use this for one exercise because I want today's workout to be mainly just a body weight workout. So this is for those of us who may not have really any equipment at home, or if you just want to do more of like a high intensity kind of interval training. This is what this is going to be, where you're going to do intervals today. So we're going to do a series of 8 exercises, 8 rounds. We're going to go straight sets, meaning we're going to do the same exercise, or we may switch the exercise in between too, depending on how tough the exercise is. The main thing is that we're getting our heart rate high though. We're gonna do a 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off protocol for this. So without further ado, let's get it moving. We're gonna go ahead and get it warmed up. We're gonna go ahead and get the blood flowing with the high knees. And twist the hips with this one. Biggest thing is that your hips follow through. You're going to turn your back leg behind you. Hopefully you are already warmed up with that one. Arm circles. And reverse it backwards. Next is going to be high kicks. You're going to kick your leg up high, stretch out the kicks. I'm sure if Dan Bednar is watching this with Fitness Revolution, this warm-up will probably look a little familiar. Yes, I'm using his large group class warm-up. So I want to give credit where credit is due here. You're going to stay tall, keep the legs straight. I almost lost my balance there. All right, now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to stretch your quads, grab your ankle, pull, hold, relax. Switch sides, hold, relax, switch sides. This one, if you want to hold one side, you can do that and go for a count of 10 to 15 seconds and then switch. Either way is fine here. All right, next is going to be lateral lunges. We're going to go groin stretch, and you're going to work the lateral part of the thighs as well here. rotation towards that front knee. I might be moving a little slow. I have arthritis in my right hip, so this is actually very good for it. Good stuff. All right, downward dog, upward dog. Here we go. In the air, and up in the air. Heels down, chest up. Stretch out the calves, stretch out the abs. Stretch out the calves, stretch out the abs. Stretch out the calves, stretch out the abs. This one's going to give us a pretty good calf and ankle stretch. And of course, work our shoulders, work our core in a pretty good fashion here. One more. Next one is, last one I almost forgot, bootstrapper. You grab your toes, pull your hips down as far as you can. Now sink your hips down while your heels are still on the ground. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, that's a pretty sufficient warm-up if you're just trying to get to the point and keep your warm-up to about 5 minutes. Typically, in a traditional setting, weight room and everything, I would go, for myself and my semi-private groups, we go much deeper than that with a warm-up. You usually spend at least 10 minutes where you work on a lot of different stuff, especially any sort of limitations. This particular warm is not meant for that. This is a general, to get to the point, get the heart rate up and work a little bit of, or work some muscle groups to get us prepared for the workout. Now, again, we got 8 different exercises we're gonna do today. We're gonna do all straight sets, 8 rounds, excuse me. Yeah, we're doing 8 rounds. I think I may, depending on how I feel during the workout, I may switch, and you can feel free to do this. I'm gonna switch some of the exercises midway, just to make sure we're not killing ourselves, because 8 rounds is a lot of volume. So I may switch that to 2 exercises per station and make it a superset instead of a straight set. All right, without further ado, we are going to jump right into it. First exercise is going to be squats or drop squats. So as you drop squat, feet wide, down, drop, and then regular squat's going to be this one. Per hip issue that I have, I'm just going to do regular squats. You feel free to do whichever one you want. I'm going to get my timer going here. It's going to start here in about 10 seconds. And here we go. You might notice that I don't go down quite all the way. That's what my hip can handle. So, that's what my hip can handle. So, if this is the rest period right now, if you have a hip issue, you have a knee issue, you need to make any modifications, do so. Do something else. was supposed to be the rest period. Oh, that's right. I'm going to actually flip this here and talk for a second because I've been working. Actually, I worked in the rest period instead of the work period, so I'm going to flip it here. But a good modification for the squat here would be to go ahead and either not go all the way down, or, okay, got 10 more seconds to talk, or we can grab something kind of heavier and do an RDL deadlift instead. Okay, here we go. Back to the workout. So I'm just kind of trying to do like a little bit of a speed squat here. Get a little bit of heart rate going up. Go a little faster. Now, if you have any issues, I would not recommend going I wouldn't recommend going this fast if you have any issues. Okay, perfect. We're a few rounds down now. This is what it would look like to do the drop squat. All right, we're gonna get going here. Whew. It's a lot of volume. Something's not right here on the timer. All right. That's why. I just did a bunch of sets of the wrong thing here. Okay. Okay. So I'm actually at, right now, I had to pause the timer. This is a new timer, so still getting used to it. Didn't really give me a heads up when the next exercise is supposed to happen. So we're going to skip down to, we're going to take a break right now. Give yourself about a minute. Get some water. So the next exercise is in fact going to be rows. That's why I have the dumbbell out. If you need to use something else for weight, or if you have a suspension trainer, you can still use a suspension trainer for your rows. This is what I have here in the apartment, so this is what I'm going to use. So this one is going to end up being 4 rounds on each side. So with this one, I'll show you what we're going to do here. We're going to be leaning forward Backs flat, arms down, and row to the bottom of the chest. I did 12 on this. All right, that was about 20 seconds. It hasn't really gone off yet, but I need to restart here. So you kind of get the picture here. I'm gonna continue going this way. Whew. Burning out before the timer's gone. That's okay. If you need to make a stop before the timer goes off, do it. Get set. Whew. I'm also counting my reps so I know about how much time I have left. We're getting about 15 reps in here with this, which might vary. We got one more time on each side. One more time on each side. All right. I also think I forgot to mention when you pull, you're going to pull to the bottom of the chest. Not up on the top of the chest, not to the hip, but to the mid-range top belly. Go ahead, get some water. That was it for that one. Whew. 2 exercises down. Two exercises down, a couple to go. I'm gonna catch my breath here. You can also wait. If you need to wait a little longer to catch your breath, let your heart rate go back down. The best way to monitor your heart rate is through what's called heart rate, through tracking your heart rate, letting it go down. Typically a good rule of thumb, if you're tracking it by heart rate, is to let your heart rate get to about 130 or 120 and then start again. If you're on a time crunch, you absolutely go for it. Just know that your next sets you won't be able to go as intense because your heart rate's already up when you're starting. But if you're worried about full effect, let that heart rate come down in between exercises so that way you can start almost fresh and be able to get to the high intensities. Now, the next one is going to be what we call plank saws. So I forgot to bring out a, I'll be right back. I need something for that. So on a hardwood floor, you should be able to, I'm using a t-shirt here. You can use a t-shirt, you can use a towel, it doesn't matter. Basically, I'm actually gonna move to the side here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is going to be a plank. With a body saw. So you're going to go in and out. If you want to do a different variation, you can. You can lift the leg up and down. If you would rather do that. You're going to keep the hips up in the air with this one. I'm going to flip back around here this way. This is just so. So you kind of see how that goes. You want to keep the body level, hips up in the air. If anything, poke your hips up in the air if you're getting tired. Don't let them sag. So don't let your hips sag like this. If anything, hips up in the air. That'll protect your spine. Oh, wow. That was a tough one. I think I may switch the exercise here. I'm just gonna hold the plank for this one. I'm gonna go from the hands. With this one, as you're moving back and forth, don't worry about how far you go. Don't worry about how far up and down or forward and backward you go. Just worry about making that motion and getting a good effect on the abs. I'm going to do a little bit of pike up now. So I'm changing the exercise just because I'm getting tired. Wow. That should have been 6. We got 2 more. Yeah, so this is the last one here. Again, I'm just gonna hold the plank. Oh, I started early. That was it for that one. Get some water. refill my water bottle. I'm actually going to bring this over here so I don't have to keep going back and forth. So again, let that heart rate come back down. Our next exercise is going to be lunges. Now with this one, I left it open for interpretation. We can go split lunge where you're staying in place and just going up and down. You're going to drop that back knee towards the ground. We can do a step behind reverse lunge, or if you want to do a step forward, regular lunge, a forward lunge. You're going to keep your torso nice and tall and go for it. Pick either one. If you're a beginner, I recommend staying in place and just going up and down. If you're more advanced, you can do the other version. You can alternate legs if you're walking or going forward or backward. Or because it's such a short amount of time, I would recommend just doing one side at a time. For one, I'm gonna do reverse lunges because my foot feels better when I do this. My hip does. Rest time. The reason why I'm using the slider is because my hip doesn't really like the stepping motion. This feels better this way. Couple more rounds left. Couple more rounds left. One more on each side. One more on each side here. on this other side here. As I missed one, I was counting the reps in my head here. I just counted the reps in my head, and one left on the other side. But yeah, let your heart rate come down now. You probably found that doing the reverse lunges, unless you're holding some weight, probably isn't going to get the heart rate quite up as high as some of the other exercises. We can also go fast, which wasn't the point today. We did have that with the jump squats earlier. Now we're going to get into doing some push-ups. Actually, I'm going to switch that. We're going to do some side planks, side plank hip drops, which I will show from the side. I'll do this from the side here. I'm going to turn this sideways. This is just a towel for anybody who's wondering. It's not a yoga mat. You can use anything that you have available to you that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play here. All right. So side plank, right here like this. Just going to hold it today. 20 seconds. Of course, I'm going to fold this over a little bit just so I have a little bit of padding. And then we're going to go to the other side. I gotta switch my feet here. There we go. So that's one round each side down, 3 more to go. Now we're going to add a hip drop. So we're going to go up and down with the hips. Do this if your spine is okay. If your spine is not okay, I would recommend just staying in place and just doing the regular side plank. All right. Burning calories galore here. Wow, starting to fail already. Wow. Whew. You can probably tell that I'm struggling with this. That's okay. If you're not struggling, you're not working hard enough. To be quite honest, unless you're super beginner at this. Just gonna hold it for the rest of it. All right. gonna get some water now. Let the heart rate come back down. The sides of the abs should be burning pretty good here. Now we're gonna switch into some push-ups. I'm gonna do it from the side again so you can kind of see where my arms and hands are at and everything. Push-ups can be a lot, so I'm actually gonna pair this with probably a core exercise. So I'll do four sets of push-ups here, along with do 4 sets of push-ups along with I'll flip over and do leg curls with my towel here in my shirt that I'm using. It should overall be good. I'm just looking to lower the volume because I know I don't know about anybody else, but I have a shoulder issue right here, probably in the rotator cuff area. So doing a lot of push-ups might not be a good idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Push-ups. I'm gonna go modified first. So modified from the knees. Reach out and up and down. You can do any variation here. You can go this one, you can go regular. I'm gonna do all my sets at once here, and then I'm gonna flip it over. So we got 3 more rounds. Regular. Notice my hands are going to the bottom of my chest, not to the top, not too low. Bottom of the chest, up. It puts the elbows, shoulders, hands in the best position to lift you up when your hands come to the bottom of the chest. All right, back to the modified version. I'm starting to burn out. If you start to burn out, that's okay. Give yourself a breather, give yourself a second, and then get back into it. Whoops. My belly sagged there a little bit. There we go. Whew. I'm not very good at push-ups. All right. I'm going to do leg curls with this lovely material here. Basically with this, I'm going to hands down, slide up, curl away. So the hips up first and curl your feet into the ground. You can do this with a shirt, a towel, anything on like a little hardwood floor like this should work. You should feel the hamstrings burn on this one, of course. Burning out here. It's 2 more rounds. Again, pushing the hips up in the air, curl in. For those of us, I forgot to show a modification. For those of us that have a hard time with this one, just go ahead and do a regular glute bridge Just going up and down, feet flat on the ground, or toes in the air, either way, hips up and down. That's a good alternative for this one. I should have shown that before. For that one. I accidentally did one too many. Whoops. Anyway, that's okay if I did one too many. With that heart rate, come down, get your water. You're gonna wait a good 45 seconds to a minute at least here. Let the heart rate come down. For those of you who are beginners, by the way, I should have said this at the beginning. If you're new to working out, if you're not used to more like a high intensity interval style training, where there's not a lot of rest, which is what we're doing, you can either shorten up how many rounds you're doing. I would say start off with, we're doing 8 total rounds. I may start off with like 2 or 3, and go from there. Or you can do a set, take a much longer break, do a set, take a much longer break. So I have it at 20 seconds off, 10 seconds on, which I think I said at the beginning of the video, I said 20-20. I forgot to change it in this, so it's 20 times just rolling with it. But you can do 20-20, you can do 20, wait for 20 seconds, wait for the next round, so it's gonna be 20-30, 20 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. You can do 20 seconds of work, wait an entire minute, wait for the next couple rounds to go, and then go again. However you want to plan it out, it's still going to be interval training. Just make sure the quality of the work that you're doing from round to round is high. So our next exercise is going to be lateral lunges. I'm going to explain that as we get into, I've already burned a little too much time here. So we're going to go lateral lunges, side to side. I'm not going to step into it today. Side to side, just like we did in the warm-up. Hips to the side. My hip is actually not being my friend, so you can probably see my face every time I lunge down. So you can kind of see it that way. I'm actually going to pick a different exercise here because my hip's bugging me. I'm going to do a little exhale. I'll do this. It won't go down as much here. Ow. Actually, I do need to pick a different exercise. I know what I'm going to pick. I'm going to do a second exercise, a secondary exercise because my hip is bugging me on this. You can continue doing lateral lunges if you want. This is going to seem a little bit, I'll call it Jane Fonda-ish, but up and down, lift my leg up and down to get a lateral movement in. This isn't going to get the heart rate very high, by the way. The lateral lunges will, so continue that if you're good with it. You definitely feel the burn. So this one, if you're doing this one with me, have both hands in front of the chest. You can grab here too if you want. Legs gonna go straight up and down, and the foot's gonna face forward. So you're not gonna turn your foot out, you're gonna face it forward and down. I think that was it, actually. No, we got 2 more rounds. 2 more rounds. Go into the last round here. Yep, that's about it. All right. Get some water again if you need it. Next is going to be glute bridge. So the next exercise is going to be a glute bridge with a little bit of weight. This is going to work our glutes primarily. You lay on your back, hip, feet in, push your butt up in the air. Wipe some sweat off my face. So this should be a good one to do. Give us a few more seconds of rest here. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. I already started the timer. You can hold it if you want, or you can do reps. I'm probably going to do a combination of the two. With this, knees are going to be bent to 90 degrees. I think I'm supposed to go, actually. Okay. Nope. There we go. So, knees are going to be bent to about 90 degrees. That's going to give you the optimal burn in your glute. Oh, that was the rest time. I had it backwards. I'm going to continue to go through this one here. So I'm just going to hold it up this time. Maximize the burn on the glutes. You get tired, reset, relax, go back to it. There we go. That was 20 seconds. I'm using a weight. You don't have to use a weight if you don't want to, or if you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend it. So, again, using the weight is going to be contingent on whether or not you have a weight laying around the house. If you don't, that's okay. You can use a heavy backpack or something like that. Sandbag, kettlebell, if you purchase any of those kinds of things. Really focus on squeezing the glute muscle. Grab the ground with the feet. If you grab the ground with the feet, you should feel your butt muscle squeeze up. You're thinking about it. You're going to grab with your toes. Try to get up in the air as high as you can without arching your back. Hold it now. Just gonna hold. Hold, hold, hold. Oh yeah, that burns. There we go. We're gonna do one more round. I'm gonna hold it again. That's what we call an isometric contraction. And that was the workout for today. Feel free to join me in a couple minute cool down. I'm gonna move this over. So typically, it's a good idea to cool down after a high intensity workout just like this. If you have like a foam roller or like a tennis ball, some good quality soft tissue self-massage is always a good idea. I currently don't have one of those with me at the moment, so I'm just gonna stretch out. That's perfectly okay. I'm also gonna do some breathing. You don't have to make this last 15 minutes or anything like that. Just go ahead and I'm gonna do a standing hip flexor stretch here. So I'm also stretching out my Achilles tendon and my hip all at the same time. You can reach your arms up above your head. You can also turn into it if you need to. Perfect. Switch sides. Good. All right. You can also choose any areas of flexibility which you lack. So if you lack shoulder flexibility, you can focus on those types of stretching or static stretches. That way you can increase the mobility and flexibility in the joints that you need to. Or if you're flexible enough, you can do it just because you feel good and pick the ones that you want to do. For me, I am also going to do a open chest stretch. I'm gonna lay down. This is gonna go like this. So this is a pretty gentle stretch for me, but it's still stretching out my shoulders. I'm just gonna breathe in, fill my belly with air, and breathe out. Okay, I recommend 5 to 8 breaths on this, inhaling for 4 to 5 seconds, exhaling for 4 to 5 seconds. And then of course, if you just want to lay here and breathe, that's also a good way to reset the nervous system to a more calming section of it. So the parasympathetic nervous system, just going to breathe in 4 seconds, breathe out 4 seconds. One more breath. Perfect. That concludes today's workout. I'm going to stand up to talk. That concludes today's workout. Hopefully you get a great workout out of that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, questions, any suggestions, please feel free to comment back to me via email, and I would like to incorporate those suggestions or answer those comments in the next videos. All right, this has been your at-home workout brought to you by Brown Fitness and Performance. You can visit us at brownfitnessandperformance.com or visit our social media and Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you guys on the next workout.